Hello, my fellow entities of the interwebs. I am Generic Mystic, and today I am going to be bringing you a sort of assortment of tips, tricks, and advice for making custom maps in the Escapists. These aren't going to be in any particular order, so just strap in. There's going to be timestamps in the description if you just want to hop around to them. I just threw together this nice little map. Let's get into it. The first little tip that I can give is to make sure that your waypoints make sense. For example, waypoint could be placed in an area where a guard or an inmate could not reach it, like right here. Or if there is a tile in the tile set, like the ones I have placed here, where they can't path to it even if you can walk on it. It's a weird little quirk. I would be very aware whenever using the tiles that you end up using to make sure that there's nothing like this happening. My next little piece of advice is to make sure that you don't have key door spam, like right here, where you need every key under the sun and maybe even a takeover all at the same time in order to do an escape. It's just not interesting, especially if you look at the Escapist 2 custom maps where a lot of the harder ones just do this. There's a lot more interesting escapes that you can do. Adding to that, Contraband Detector spam is not fun. Whether it's 6 in a row to completely eat away at contraband pouches or just on every door possible, it's just excessive to a point. You don't need that many. You need them at the choke points where everyone's going to be pathing through, like with Jungle Compound. Adding to the things that suck, I would say stay away from using landmines and jeeps in your custom maps. They are inconsistent, especially with higher object counts on maps. Like, if you watched my Comments Make center perks, you'll know that the Jeep sometimes doesn't spawn. And if you've seen even just Jungle Compound and San Pancho, sometimes the Jeep will despawn. And it can create the audio bug where it just makes the noise no matter where you are, even if you close out of the prison. It's just not great. And for the landmines, you can just pause buffer through them if you have the correct timing. So I'd say try to go for something else than them. Obviously, you can use them, just don't rely on them working. While we're on the topic of landmines, there's another really important thing to say, and is that we don't need to have excessively long dig out escapes of like 1T tiles. It's just not interesting or just really engaging for the player to just dig a tile, place a timber brace, dig a tile, break a rock, dig a tile, timber brace, dig a tile, dig a rock, dig a tile, dig a rock, timber brace, dig a tile, dig a tile. There's a lot more that you could do, and while you could have little digs here and there, try not to make it be your focus. San Pancho was cool because it was the first time that you really had to, but after that, it's not as fun to play through. Here's a good one. Don't make a map that requires a takeover escape. It's not fun. It's not fun. I'm sorry, it's not fun. Like with the same vein of doing a 20 tile dig out escape, grinding up the stats, getting your 5 out of 5 weapon, getting some healing and the inmates. It's not that fun to do. Maybe there might be some use case for it, but for the most part, takeovers get really boring after the first couple of times. Because it's the same thing. There's not really any discovery to be made. It's just you fight your way through and you walk out the white door. While we're talking about takeovers, you don't need to make every map have HMP Iron Gate scheduling or guards that are that difficult. You can just have them be middle of the road or even weaker. Make the map the difficulty that you think it needs to be. You don't need it to be the hardest map that has ever been made for the Escapists. It's more enjoyable to the average person if it isn't as hard as possible. Now that I've gone over a lot of the don't do's and try to stay away from, let's get into some of the actual advice. The first one I can give is that the generator is going to be your best friend for making an interesting escape and lengthening it in a healthy way. You can have it be locked behind some doors, maybe have a little bit of a vent passage to get to it. Just stuff to spice it up and have you go to various parts of the map that you wouldn't otherwise go to. And especially because of the fact that the generator could be on the roof or the ground, you have a lot to play with when it comes to what kind of route you want to put the player on to get to it. Something that I can really say is that you should avoid artificial difficulty. What I mean by that is stuff like the stun rods that the HMP Iron Gate guards have, or stuff that needlessly lengthens the map for no reason other than lengthening it. Stuff like having to chip 5 walls in order to get to your intellect spot. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be more of a slog for the player than anything interesting. Make it fun for them. A really good piece of advice I can give that I've encountered with some custom maps is avoid having areas that look really important but actually have nothing in them at all. If a player is feeling lost, they're going to look for anything that might stand out, and if they spend all of that effort trying to get to something that has no payoff, they're going to feel upset, discouraged, and they're not going to like the map as much. A really simple piece of advice that I can give is don't place the prison cells outdoors. There is a bug that can occur where even if you're in a safe area like what is designated here, sniper can still shoot you for no reason at all. So if a player has contraband on their person, it could just get wiped, and it's a small nitpick, but it's something that can easily be remedied. Okay, this one is something that I have encountered so much in custom maps. If there's any takeaway that you should have, it should be this one. Please, 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 please make your vents and roofs line up with where you're placing them on the respective layers. Whenever you take a ladder up to a vent or roof layer, or a ladder down from the vent or roof layer down to the ground layer, you are going to get offset by a tile. If you're going up, you'll go up 1 tile. If you're going down, you'll go down 1 tile. This is only changing from the ground to a different layer though, or from a different layer to the ground. So for example, this ladder up puts you in a wall, and this one puts you in another wall. It's not good. What you should do is something like this. The vent is offset by 1 tile, meaning that whenever you go up, you will go into the vent, and whenever you go down, you'll go back into the ground layer. There are so many maps where I have been put into walls and gotten soft locked, and it's such an easy thing to fix. Just offset your vents and roofs. Also, with the vent layers, make sure that you actually wall off everything, because if you don't wall it off, someone can just walk out. This acts as a completely solid layer that you can just walk upon, and there is nothing stopping you from just escaping. For the roof layers, first of all, make sure that your wall masking is correct. You don't want to have floating buildings or jarring looking walls. The wall masking is very easy to do. You just put the right edge on the right edge and the left edge on the left edge, and then the tops here create a nice little shadow, and also cap off any walls so that they're not sticking out like they would otherwise. Whenever trying to gate off sections of the roof, this is something I specifically encountered with Stardom Shutdown that was apparently not intended. Make sure people can't just diagonally do stuff like that. Notably, you can't actually do it going downwards, but upwards you can. So just keep that in mind. Alright, now that we've done all of the inner working stuff, let's do the external stuff. For this, I have brought up the Astral Research Colony, my custom map. So, the thing that I can say applies to everyone making maps nowadays for the Escapists is to have some kind of alternate means of downloading the map. Whenever you download an Escapist map from the workshop, it puts it into the workshop folder repository for the game. You would open up the Escapist, you click the download button, and sometimes it would download the map and put it in the list for you to play. A good amount of the time, though, it just doesn't do that, and it doesn't pull up the map at all. Providing an alternate means to download the map makes it so that anyone can play it if they're willing to and don't know the exact method of installing it directly from the files, which I'm going to show you how to do right now. So, if you go to this directory, Windows C is just wherever you have Steam downloaded to. Program file, Steam, Steam apps, workshop, content 298630 is the ID of the Escapists on Steam. You'll see this giant list of folders. All of these are a different map. So for example, with the Ark, it would be this folder, because if you look at the URL, 363.009.2092 matches up with this one. This is just the CMap file. You can copy and paste this into your custom maps folder. You can rename it to whatever you would want. The name is what will appear in the lists of custom maps in-game. And then you would change it from .bin to .cmap, and it works one-to-one. You would be able to boot it up from there. It's very simple to do. It's just complicated if you don't know how to do it, which that's why I'm explaining it. Okay, now say you're making your custom map be extra special. Like, you want to have a custom tile set. Like, if you look on the workshop, boom, custom tile set, custom, bunch of different custom tile sets all around. You might want to do that, but, you know, you're not that great of a pixel art artist. You don't know where to start, and making an entire tile set from scratch is a bit complicated. Well, have I got news for you. I didn't do this from scratch. If you want specifics, these walls right here are really simplified versions of the HMP Iron Gate walls. Like, all of the texturing, I just stripped it down to the bare essentials of just solid colors, maybe like a little bit of fanciness here and there. These grates that you can see through at the catwalk, I just took this and slightly altered it. These glass barriers right here, I just copied the glass here and changed around some stuff. Like, you can even see the little shading of the wood. This is just the concrete block, but I made it white. These are just the generic floor tile, but I tinted it more to a black. If you look down there with the medical room, it's the same as these tiles, but I made it way more white. These boxes, I just made the regular box texture darker. There's a lot of stuff that you can do playing around with existing tile sets to produce something that you might like. Whether it's just changing the color, or stripping it down to its essentials, or making a little bit more fancy. Like, not everything needs to be this super beautiful thing like Fortalice of Nature is. You can be simple and still be memorable. Because the custom tile set goes a long way with creating unique settings unique visuals that stand out from just the Center Perk, Shankton State Pen, Sun Poncho, Jungle Compound, Stalag Flute, HMP Iron Gate tile sets that everyone's working with and have hundreds and hundreds of pages on the Steam Workshop. I don't know how to really end this, so thank you for watching. Obviously, you can take anything I say with a grain of salt. It's not the end-all, be-all. It's just things that me and Eater came up with one afternoon, and with me posting my own map and encouraging others to make their own maps, I felt it would be good to just point out things here and there that are good to keep in mind when making a map. So I guess that's it for custom map informative shenaniganry. Thank you for watching, and I don't know what I'm going to do next week.